There was a loop a long time ago that I made, and we called it High Bells. There's no reason for that, but it started out as a jam based on High Bells, and then Steven later on sent this other Logic file, but then it was in 5, and we were trying to merge the two, and then we got rid of High Bells, and then just kind of kept this like cool 5 feel thing that Steven made. And the main hook that came out of like the High Bells phase was "You Cut Me Out and I'm Down on the Floor." And that was like just a hook, and we didn't know what it leaned into. So I was trying to think about that feeling of being cut out, and I have a couple of different friendships where I felt this sort of drastic break that made no sense to me, that caused me a disproportionate amount of confusion and rumination and frustration. So I channeled it towards one friend in particular, and sort of the timeline of our friendship, and we built like a friendship over the course of over a decade, and I felt like it completely disappeared one day, and I was trying to reach out and ask questions about it and have communication about it, and didn't receive anything back. So I got more confused, and so I was sort of reflecting on how this person presents herself, and that there's this sort of, in a social media sense, there's this sort of perfect image, so like the lyrics start out as "The candle you hold to one side, they all adore the show that you write." And it seems like her life is so perfect on this one angle, but then this angle that I see is there's a lot more struggle, and it's a lot more human looking. And so I go into like, little they know where you store your spine, because I was just frustrated at this inability to communicate a conflict. And that sort of feeling leans into that "You cut me out and I'm down on the floor." Janet! Sorry, this is dog. Janet! Hey! Janet? Hey! Stop. So that feeling with her led to this sort of hook where "You cut me out and I'm down on the floor," because I just felt authentically just cut out of her life. And the next verse is like, at one point we were roommates together, and even that living situation sort of drastically ended, where there was a conflict but there was no resolution. So I asked the question, was my home too foul for your style? And all I really wanted was to be able to communicate this conflict so that I could understand what to learn from it, or what I did, or just have some sort of concrete direction to understand this relationship. And so I just wanted a verdict or some kind of feedback, but I never got it. And so the whole essence of the song is just being confused and dealing with the feeling of rejection without having much information. I've actually written 3 songs about her. Only one of them's on the album. One I wrote a long time ago that didn't make the cut. And the other one I just wrote in this year, since I saw her again, and it created like a different collection of experiences. Yeah, it's a little awkward because I think we're friends again. I don't think she knows this song's about her. Yeah, I mean, if she saw this, she would know this is about her. But I mean, she knows about the first song I wrote about her, but she doesn't know that this is about her. She doesn't know that I wrote another song. But what I would want to say to that end is the more I've processed all of this, the less that I really like I don't have as much frustration or anger, and I don't have any resentment towards her, and I feel like I have a lot more compassion and understanding for her side. And especially by the time this third song came out that I wrote, it puts a lot more space for me to understand how much I've overthought about the situation, and how much energy that I've put into creating this whole story inside of this space that we've had, and being accountable to that, and not blaming her for my emotions in that way. So sometimes if you can't resolve your conflicts, you just have to write a bunch of songs about it and figure it out.
Candle you hold to one side, they all